This show is brought to you by Kratzmann Caravans, their RV Super Centre out there at Burpengary, Kev. For over 40 years, Kratzmann have been the starting point for Australian caravans and motorhomes. They are the benchmark. You want to go away? You want to pull a caravan? You want to have a motor? You think of Kratzmann. It's that easy. They've been that good.
Yeah, it certainly makes sense to me, Dobbo. I mean, just up there at
Burpengary,
aren't they? Just off the freeway there.
On the Bruce Highway. This year is their biggest ever sale. They are having an event sale.
What sort of? Tell me how big the sale is.
Well, mate, they've got things. They've got RVs, $20,000 off a caravan. Like that alone, that's up to. I mean, these guys. They're not just saying, come out, we'll take a couple of bucks off it. Thousands.
That's big money.
Thousands. Now, what you need to do is...
Hey, that's big money even for you in your terms, because you live in the world of money, don't you?
Pot kettle. What you need to do is you need to go out there to Kratzmann and their RV Superstar end of season, end of financial year sale and say, listen to Dobbo and Kev. I watch Inside Ball.
Show me the money.
Let's go, baby. I want to pull a motor. I want to pull a caravan. I want to take a motor home to Longreach. We're going to be in Longreach next week.
Looking forward to that.
We will see Kratzmann Caravans parked out there. There's nothing sure. They'll be out there. We might even take some happy snaps of it as well. So make sure you tell them that Inside Ball is where you heard this. Go and get yourself a caravan. If it's now the time you want one, just even make an inquiry. They will look after you. Kratzmann Caravan, the best in the business. Hello and welcome to Inside Ball. Well, we are sad Queenslanders.
Tough ones this morning, Dom.
Tough ones this morning. Last night, 18 points to 6. Queensland beaten at Suncorp Stadium. Kev, I've got so many questions to ask. You're a coach, you're a footballer, you're a Queenslander. You know that arena better than anybody. But probably the most deeming statistic that highlighted is that Queensland have scored one try in their last two games at Suncorp Stadium. They were soundly beaten last night. I mean, if Cleary and Lomax could have kicked, I think they missed 4 goals.
Yeah.
The score flattered Queensland last night.
It certainly did. And just before the game, I was doing a bit of work, a few promotions and the like, and that stadium is magnificent. You know, it's the first time I've been there as a spectator for an Origin game for a while, and look, it was just amazing the position that we had where we were sitting, and the crowd and the noise, and when the Queenslanders ran out, it was just a great feeling. And I thought, well, here we go, it would pump me up, you know. And then New South Wales just dominated for the whole 80 minutes. You know, the only time we looked like we were in the game was that period where they had 12 when Toto got sin-binned. We scored a try there as well. Apart from that, you know, we looked pretty flat, and Billy said that. In his press conference after the game, he said that, you know, we just weren't in the game, and
he looked broken, Bill, last night. He honestly, his press conference.
You were at the press conference?
Yeah. He was.
He didn't have that usual energy that he has, does he? You know, and the optimism as well.
I don't know if he looked lost for answers, but Kev, what did you see? What did you see just initial, and not like these guys are Queensland proud, but what did you see?
Well, I just from the start, we just didn't have our discipline, you know. And Ashley Klein, he had a good game, right?
I don't think he did, but anyway.
Well, we can't blame the referees.
No, you can't. But there was undiscipline.
The Queenslanders the players need to take responsibility for their discipline at that level. Now, that sometimes Origins go and they don't penalise anything. Other times they, you know, stop it and whatnot. And last night was sort of a little bit in between, but the discipline from our guys, and Billy mentioned that again in his press conference, was not good enough in that first sort of 30 or 40 minutes, which we paid a price for at the back end of the game, where we were fatigued and we couldn't score points. When we actually needed that energy and that zip, we didn't have it because of all the tackling. Poor old Harry Grant, they just targeted him through the middle, didn't they? You know, with the big Payne Haas, what a game he had.
They really identified Harry Grant. It was his. I would say it's his worst game I've seen him play in a long, long time, and everybody's allowed to howl. That happens.
Yep.
But the undisciplined, like the kicking of the ball in the ruck, giving away penalties, and also just his whole, the mistakes he made, it was very unlike him.
Very unlike Harry. And he'll be waking up this morning on Thursday very disappointed with his... I know he's a very competitive young man, so can he be better for Queensland? Of course he can. I think every player, to a man, can play a lot better, and they'll need to keep the series alive in Game 2 over in Perth. There will be some changes, I believe.
Oh, there's got to be, Kev.
There'll be some changes.
Where do you think? Can I just ask you one thing? Cotter on the edge, they targeted him. Like, it was a risk, and that looked like to me, like I could not believe it. And I'm no expert. You're the coach, but Billy rolled the dice with Liero and Cotter on the edges, and it failed. It was a failure. Like, so there's going to have to be.
You've got to be genuine. Play that position week in, week out. I just want to go back to Harry Grant for a bit. He's had one game in probably 6 weeks.
Yep.
So and then
Origin.
So the old smarty New South Wales, let's target him and gas him. That's what they did.
Yeah.
They gassed him. It forced him into errors. He got frustrated, just making so many tackles. 40-something tackles, wasn't it, that he made? So a good game plan from the Blues, but also just a reminder for us for Game 2, maybe Harry might be better. I mean, I like him starting. Maybe he might be better coming off the bench. But again, let's get through 2 more weeks of the NRL, and then we'll sit down and pick our Queensland team for Game 2. But there will be some changes. A lot of talk around DCE last night, around him and whether he can keep going. Well, let's give him the benefit of the doubt and let him get back into clubland. They're playing the Broncos on Saturday, Manly are. So it's a good opportunity for DCE to get back in the saddle and steer the Manly side around against the Broncos. So there will be changes, though. There will be changes. I see. Who do you see coming back in?
I'd just be interested. I see there's 3 players. Jermaine Hopgood, I think. Selwyn, obviously, if he wants to play, and I say that.
Well, of course he wants to play. It's Queensland, mate.
Kev, if he wants to play. Corey Horsburgh.
Corey Horsburgh is the one I think that should come in.
They missed him. They missed
second phase. Yeah. Hopgood's got second phase play in him as well. But we need a genuine edge player. So maybe...
It's Jaden Sewer. What's Jaden Sewer done wrong this year for St George? I know, he's been very good the last couple of weeks.
Bo Fermore's the other option. Right? Yeah. So they're the 2 that I would be looking at primarily as a genuine edge player to start the game.
Yeah.
Right? We mentioned Corey coming back into the side. I think... Selwyn Cobbo, if he can get back into playing some good form, for the Broncos. Reece Walsh might be an option, but I don't think he'll be back in time. I don't think that game last night, was a tough for Kalen Ponga. I thought he tried really hard, Kalen, but just didn't get the opportunities that he needed.
Hammer wasn't at his best last night.
No, they're all off, Dobbo. So we can let them have. They're allowed one bad night at the office at work. Just don't make it 2, because if they make it 2, series done.
She's all over.
And Perth, our form in Perth is
dreadful.
Not been great. I've been to Perth
twice
and got my ass kicked.
Yeah,
not twice. I only got my ass kicked.
I've
once.
been there twice, and Queensland have been flogged both times.
Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, Payne Haas won the player of the match last night.
Yeah, he got the man of the match, didn't he?
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
How does he do that with a quad strain?
I know. And I was going to say, and Stephen Crichton, all the talk, mate, this bloke.
Well, they're 2 key players for them, and their halves. That was the other talking point, wasn't it? Was the New South Wales halves? They just chilled because they had 2 footballers, Dobbo.
I thought the side went better with Dearden last night. I don't know when he came on. I know he came on, and he's not a number 9, but he's just.
They just targeted him too. He is, mate. He is. So he will put a lot of pressure on DCE, certainly, for the younger legs and the like. And I'm not having a crack at DCE here, because he's been a great player for Queensland. But at some stage, your career at that level, it finishes mainly because players like DCE because of their age, and you just...
I just thought he went for trick shots early and it worked, and then he sort of went like that.
But I've experienced this, Dobbo, as a coach, right? When I took over that era after Mal, there was a lot of 3 or 4 of those guys, 5 of them, that were coming towards the end of their career. Sam Thaiday was one, Darius Boyd was another one.
Yeah.
Corey Parker, although he retired in 2016, Corey. So there was 3 or 4 of those from that magnificent era that Queensland had. Cooper Cronk left, Jonathan Thurston left. So
you got to try and get transition through.
You got to and there's players there to do that, for us to do that. With Tom Dearden.
Can I just say one thing? Robert Toyer belonged.
Yeah,
belonged. He was very good.
Big job for him up against Latrell, and Latrell had a bit of a mixed night, so that's dangerous for Queensland. I mean, he did a couple of really nice things.
That pass to Toto, unbelievable.
It was
flick pass,
brilliant. But he tried to get himself in the game. Latrell, without influencing it dramatically, but the Queenslanders did a really good job on him. But there's 13 New South Welshmen out on the field, and they just got strike everywhere. And I felt they attacked much better than us. That they seemed more organised, which can happen. I know, and we sort of lost our way in that second half. We had opportunities to score some points, and we couldn't come up with anything.
Okay. We're going to put it to bed quickly. They go to Perth. I thought there will be changes. I thought they couldn't have played any worse.
No.
But that's 2 in a row we've lost at Suncorp.
Yeah, that's since 1998.
97, 98 is the last time that happened. Like, that's a horrible statistic.
That's not good for him. And Billy, that's maybe why Billy was so disappointed. I mean, they would have had a good week's prep. But Billy and all the Queensland fans out there, I'll take you back to 2017. We lost game 1 at Suncorp. And we made some changes. I was the coach. We made some changes. Brought back Billy Slater, Jonathan Thurston for game 2. Bang. We get a win in Sydney. Come back here for game 3. Cameron Smith's last game.
Never going to lose that.
No. And we won that to win the series. So we got to keep the faith with these guys. Not so much picking and sticking, but picking the best available team to win game 2. And Billy will do that because Billy's a proud Queenslander.
Well, Tuolungi you would think comes
Well, he was
back.
injured, wasn't he?
Yeah, you could push Val to the centres. I mean, Hammer had an ugly night. Like, I've got to be honest with you. Hammer had a bad night, but we know what Hammer... There was just mistakes like that. They had a scrum, 10 out. First tackle, they get bundled into touch. They went sideways. Kev, how do you... When you're playing, can you just get a little bit technical with me? Because I was looking at it going, they're going sideways. Does that come from your forwards getting over the advantage line?
Well,
or what
it's a little bit of that, but also a little bit of the halves, not, pushing the ball sideways too much instead of going direct or through. Now, for mine, the halves need to take responsibility for that. They're the ones, first of all, spiraling the ball like that when we went into touch. So just dig in. If there's nothing on, don't just throw it to your mate and think, do your best here. Because New South Wales just hunted in, didn't they?
Yeah.
They would have still been pushing him. They would have pushed him into Redcliffe, you know, if
they kept on going.
No
so that's what you got to do. It's up to the halves. Because I was thinking to myself, I can't wait to talk to you about this because in that moment, first tackle play into touch, it's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, the game's moving towards a lot of those drop-off plays, and Penrith have started that phase of play many years ago, and it's creeping in with every team now. The Bulldogs use it a lot.
Yeah.
New South Wales use it a lot because that's the Penrith style. Which
dropping back underneath.
Dropping back under, just playing straight, tiring the middle out,
Yeah.
and then exposing the edges.
Yeah.
You know? So
New South Wales did that.
That's what they did,
Mitch
mate.
Barnett and those forwards, they just belted them through the
Payne
middle.
for the first 20 minutes, he just lived on the edge, and they just tipped the ball onto him straight into the 3 and 4 man, making them get tackles. That moves your middle. Then they start going. Harry Grant, for instance, tiring him out. So it was a good plan. And the only reason you're allowed to do that if one of you control the ball really well, which New South Wales did, and the opposition are coming up with mistakes and little penalties and that just cramp you down the ground. They had to defend so much, Queensland. It just zaps your energy.
They were gone. By half-time, it didn't matter. It was a flattering scoreline at half-time, but they were gone.
Cleary missed 3 or 4 goals, didn't he?
Like just couldn't find his rhythm.
Yeah, so they were good, the Blues, and hats off to you. We salute you. But there's 2 more games yet, Queenslanders. Let's stay together.
Right, let's unpack that. Nice review on that. Women's State of Origin tonight.
Yep. Oh,
Queensland
down
down 2-0
again here, Dobbo.
Raining in Newcastle. No Tamika Upton.
No.
Look.
You know what? New South Wales, they've kept the same 17 for all 3 games. That's a huge advantage.
Unheard of.
And yet we've had to chop and change, with injuries and the like, and we've moved our spine again. So Brown has gone into the 7 jumper. Ali Briganshaw's gone to 13. So again,
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
There's
I
a
think
shuffle
she's a 13.
there. Yeah.
I think she is. And this could be a last one. I know she says continue playing. I just hope they can get the job done tonight.
We don't need a whitewash. Come on, girls. You got a lift here. We don't need a whitewash. No one likes a whitewash, Dobbo, particularly us Queenslanders.
Righto, so what are you tipping, mate?
Well, look, I'm going to tip Queensland, but they're up against it. The odds are something. They're like $4 or $5, So certainly up against it with no Tamika Upton. But we've seen this team lift before, the girls, that we've seen them, give some really strong performances. We need that from them tonight.
Can we just quickly talk? You love a shardy. Like you love a shardy.
Yeah.
The voice is a bit hoarse. A Sauv Blanc. Have you
No, I worked all day yesterday.
Yeah, but
right?
I reckon there's been a bit.
Speaking.
I think there's a bit of Sauv Blanc.
There's no Sauv Blanc. Mate. I had 2 or 3 beers.
Yeah.
Right, watching the football. Apart from that, it was a pretty quiet day. Yeah.
You love an ice bucket, a Sauv Blanc in the middle. I've been with you before.
I did have one of those yesterday.
Of course you did. Kevie, some of the great partnerships in rugby league, I'd say Langer Walters, Stuart Daly.
Yep.
In the modern day, dare I say it, Cleary Luai. Been very good partnerships. Not bad. I mean, 4 premierships
Munster
in a row.
DCE for Origin. That's
a pretty good partnership. Well, one of the iconic partnerships that we have at Inside Ball is Inside Ball and SwiftX.
Yes.
SwiftX have been the sponsor and partner of the NRL for some time.
Yeah, I used to see him up on the tries.
Well, mate, they're now part of the family. SwiftX are all about helping Aussies learn to invest in crypto with confidence. I've got to be honest with you. I have wanted to learn a lot about crypto and share trading, and I got into learning and listening to podcasts, but my life changed when I did a simple thing. I downloaded the SwiftX app right here on my phone.
Because I'm not great in that space.
Well, you might not be great, and a lot of our Inside Ball listeners might not be great. Now, we're going to give you a link, and if you're a first-time SwiftX customer, just like what I was the other day, you'll get $20 free Bitcoin to start off with. Right. $20 straight away. Open the account up. First-time customer, Inside Ball listener, $20 Bitcoin credit straight up.
So
currency.
Where do I find the link?
Find it in the show notes to this episode. It's that easy. Start your learning today. I can't tell you, I did it. I'm not going to, it is a really fascinating thing. I can't tell you how good they are. And I'm happy they're part of our family. I'm happy they're part of NRL. And they can be part of your family as well. It's that easy.
Righto. Well, I'm in.
Get on board with SwiftX.
I've got 7 members already because I've got a big family.
Yeah, well, I've got my nieces involved. I've got my wife. I've got myself. Just get involved with SwiftX. It's as easy as I can tell you. Yep. They are helping you. They are helping us. You know what they're doing? They're helping rugby league. Of course you did. Righto, let's get into round 13. Friday night it kicks off, Kev. Dragons take on the Knights. The Knights had a good win. This is at Netstrata Jubilee. Knights had a good win against Penrith.
Yeah. Ponga back.
Ponga back. I don't like Ponga back. I mean, I know everybody says that. I mean, they might rest him. They went well with Gamble and Strain and
Fletcher Sharp
and fullback. Dragons are favourites in this one. Val's got to go back in there.
No,
Val comes in.
Val.
Yeah, just Val.
Is that the only play that
they're coming off the bye? Yeah, they had a big win against the Broncos. They have the bye. What do you think?
I'm going to stick with the Dragons. I think they've been a bit unlucky this year in a couple of games. Yeah. I know the Knights were good against Penrith last week. Dragons off a bye. They'll be fresh, full of running. I think they get a lot of confidence out of beating Brisbane before they went into the bye. So I'm going to tip the Dragons.
Yeah. All right. Melbourne Storm take on the Titans.
Oh, this is down the Gold Coast, isn't it?
Now, I've got to be honest with you. Pahulu, he was at the Titans. Desi doesn't like him. He had a contract that if he played a certain amount of games...
20 games. He needed 20 games to
get his bonus. So they stopped him at 19. There's been a blue on there, a scrap fight. Mate, you know you got a good player at the Melbourne Storm pick you up. He's gone to the Melbourne Storm. Yeah, he's gone to the Melbourne Storm.
Surely they haven't named him for this week.
No, not this week. But I can't see Melbourne losing this one. I know they've got Grant will be smarting. I mean, this is Saturday, so you've got today, tomorrow.
You've got a bit of recovery to
Munster. You might not get them all through, but Liero will play. You would think they get it done.
Yeah, I think so. The Storm, against the Titans at Seabus, that the halves combination of Brimson Campbell, they're sticking with that. Foran's gone back to 14.
Yeah,
I like that. I want to see that for about a month, and then we can have a really good assessment of where they're at. All right, there's some talk that Brimson needs to go back to fullback, and Foran into the halves. I don't disagree with that, but also let's just have a look at this new combo. They started the season with some good wins, the Titans, with that combination. Let's have a look at it again and see how we go. But I think the Storm, it's hard to tip against them.
Yeah. Cowboys, West Tigers at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. I think I mean, Reece Robson was very good last night.
Yeah, he's coming
He
to form at the right time. He started a bit slow.
I mean, they've got the few there that Nanai was good for Queensland. I think the Cowboys get this done regardless.
I do.
No Galvin, that's been a huge issue. No
Tuolungi too. He's out for the Cowboys. But I think the combination of Dearden and Purdue, I think it's a good one long term for the Cowboys. It's only the second week of it. I saw enough. I think it was Penrith they played 30 all for them to get excited about that combination. I think it's a young combination, but also they play with a lot of energy and they seem to understand what each other's doing. So, yeah, I think the Cowboys can win that one. Of course, no Lockie Galvin for the Tigers. Is he playing for the Bulldogs this week?
No.
They're on the bye, aren't they, or something?
Yeah, right. He's not going to be there.
He's gone, isn't he? He's out the door. His locker, he's got the red tag on it.
Never to return. Okay, this game, this is the big one. 4 points, I'm calling this game. Are you covering this for Fox?
I'm on the panel on Fox.
On the panel on Fox, so you'll get to watch that and then they'll pepper you with questions. Looking forward to seeing that. Bronx take on the Seagulls. Bronx are favourites, 4 Fines Park, 7:35 Saturday night.
Yeah, look.
Let's start.
Because my heart belongs to the Broncos, so I'm going to tip the Broncos.
No Travojevic boys. No, so Jake and Tommy
but
out.
Ben's back. Ben's back. In the back row. He was crook last week.
They've got Olakuatu, but they've got Olakuatu. That's the thing. Like this is where Brisbane, to me, Kev, their edges have been getting pumped. Like you look at their edges.
Xavier Willison has put a bit of size in there for him, right? He's one side. Jordan Ricky's 100 and something kilos. He's big enough and strong enough. You know, I don't mind Brisbane's edges. All right, it's just that they're not sticking to what they know works for them. They're not playing to their strengths.
So what do they got to do to get the victory?
They just got to play footy, mate. Play football. Play Broncos footy. So much talent in that team. Jesse Arthur's back at fullback. Through the week, I thought Selwyn Cobbo would have stayed at fullback, but
they shifted him.
They've moved him.
Reece was going to play, but he injured his knee.
Did he?
At training again.
What, a collision or?
No, just he felt a twinge. They were going to name him. They're going to rush him back. They're saying, oh, no, we're not. But he's hurt his knee again. So I think...
So is he out indefinite again?
I don't think it's indefinite. But I don't think... Renault's got his 300th next week against the Titans here. I don't think he plays in that.
Right.
Then they go into a bye. Then the Warriors. I think that's probably where you see Reece.
Right.
That's just the mail.
Well, they're screaming out for him and that Reece Walsh to get back into that side to just bring him some energy.
Ezra will be better for the run from last week.
Yeah, so he's going to dip a bit now, Ezra. All the excitement about him coming back, waiting, now becomes the grind for Ezra, just to get into that grind of the NRL. Because,
they need to get back on the paddock after the bye and that loss. Brisbane need to get on the paddock. Payne, Huss and Carrigan, would you back them up?
They need to. They have to play. See,
Ben Takura coming back. He's in that sort of squad.
He's in that as well. I think that's a good inclusion. I think he'll bring a lot of power and just that dynamic effect off the bench. Just in short bursts, depending on how long the coach plays him for. But a little bit with Payne Haas and Pat Carrigan both backing up. That's pretty tough going for two of your middles to back up. Is it 2 or 3 days after
Both
Origin?
of them are pretty good. I thought Carrigan was really strong for Queensland.
Yeah, he was one of our best
players.
Payne Haas
was player of the match.
Yeah, Payne Haas. What about his Origin form? Right. Wow. Is he going to back up, do you think, with a quad?
Well, I don't know. He wants to. He's told the club he wants to.
Right.
So.
Well, they always want to, Dobbo. They've got to make a smart decision, though, and think a little bit longer than this weekend.
Yeah, but Kev... They need to start winning, mate.
Well, they're not on their own, mate. There's a lot of teams.
Is very close.
Every game this weekend has a huge influence over the table. I mean, there's a pack of teams, isn't there, on 10 or 12 points. So
if Penrith are last, right?
They're last.
But if they won in 2 weeks, they could be in the 8. That's how close.
That's
the top
what I mean.
is. Yeah.
So that's where the wins they are critical.
Yeah.
You just need to keep winning.
Yeah.
Not just to stay in the 8, but to stay alive.
3 games on Sunday. Who are you going to tip? You're going to tip Brisbane, but 3 games.
I'll go for Brisbane, but not convincingly.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Warriors take on the Bunnies. Oh, back against the Bunnies, if you will. I can't back against. I know the Warriors should win this.
The Warriors will win this one. The Rabbitohs haven't no big names back. They're still out. A lot of their big name players still waiting to come back into the side. And the Warriors, mate, they just keep on keeping on. They've been magnificent. So how could you tip against the Warriors? And their travel form has been really good as well. Barely affected by Origin. James Fisher-Harris comes back into the team. Mitch Barnett's down to play, whether he backs up from Origin or not, I'm not sure. But, I just think they've got a little bit too much strike at the moment for South, who their side's strong. But if you look at match the two sides up, you're going to have to say the Warriors, not convincingly, but enough to get home over South. Although, don't write the bunnies off, because Wayne's done a great job there this year.
Mate.
They're scrappers, aren't they? They're scrappers from way back.
I think you're right. I think the Warriors win, Rabbitohs struggle. Panthers taking on the Eels. I'm going to say all 5 back, Sunday afternoon, 4:05. They beat the Eels.
Well, you'd think so, but Penrith have been one of those teams as well, up and down, but they've got their 5 Origin players back. The Eels welcome back Lomax and Mitchell Moses as well, back into their 17. So they're 2 good ins for them. The Eels are starting to put some good form together, but the Panthers, I can't tip against the Panthers again.
No.
I've been fooled before. I won't be fooled again, Dobbo.
I'm with you. This is the game. I'm calling this game. I've got Bronx, and then I've got this game on Sunday night, which is going to be a beauty, Allianz Stadium. Roosters take on the Raiders.
Yeah, cracking game.
Wow. Look at that Roosters side now. You bet against them.
Well, they're not in the 8.
They're not in the 8. They're 11th. And Canberra are one of the premiership heavyweights. This is the match of the round-up for me.
Definitely. There's no Tom Starling for the Raiders now.
Yeah, but I like Owen Paddy.
Yeah,
I like
he's
Owen
a good player. But Starling, mate, so many good things this year.
Yeah.
Whether it's him racing out of the line trying to belt someone. Now, it was silly what he did. It nearly cost the Raiders the game at the end. You know, when he put the inside pressure on. But he's a big out for them, mate.
Corey Horsburgh.
Horsburgh will be pushing for Origin selection.
He's got Lindsay Collins to come up against. You don't think he's personal for him? You don't think he says, hey, listen, mate, I want your spot? I'm telling you now, he is, and he's up against Lenu. So these 2 lunatics, can I just stop on and just talk about Spencer Lenu? You are my cult hero. You are a lunatic. No, I'm serious. He walked out last night onto the field, and you know what he said? I'm not even going to repeat what he shouted at the Queensland crowd. Like, he is... There is...
Well, what did you say? Then Darcy will beep it out. Oh, don't say that, Dobbo. You can't say that, mate. But I saw him right where I was. So I was on the Castlemaine Street side of the ground, but down the Milton Road end, and he ran over to the crowd and he's going like this to him, whooping him up. Come on, let's go,
mate.
Baby.
Mate,
he's going like this.
Every player, we need villains in this game.
We got to have him.
He's
a villain.
He's a villain, but I tell you what he does do. He's not scared. What about, I said to Val Holmes, please kick it to him. But he kicked the other way. No one wanted to kick and Spencer came back on up, they'd scored with 10 to go. And he went straight to the back fence. He went to the Caxton Street back fence, where all the Queenslanders were. He walked straight up to them. They were abusing him. And then he's waiting. Val looks to his left.
Good decision, Val.
Not kicking there, Val. I'm kicking to the right. Kick to the right.
Good decision.
Anyway,
take him out of it.
I want to see Horsburgh and Lenu. I just feel, and Tarpanay and Collins, this battle, for me, you throw in Radley, throw in Hudson Young. It is going to be a battle royale. Who are you tipping in it? It's a hard game to pick.
Yeah, look, I'll stick with the Raiders. I'll stick with the Green Machine. I know they're playing away, but they've got good momentum at the moment. They've got a couple of boys in there that are really pushing for Origin 2 selection, namely Corey. He's up against 3 or 4 Origin players there in the New South Wales.
I can't go. Rick, you know what you've done for me over your life. Rick, you know what you've done for me over my life. I love you, but I think they've been up for too long. I think Canberra get rolled. I just think the Roosters are a way better side than we give them credit for. They're a top 8 side.
Yeah, well, they got 5 Origin players dropping back in.
And, mate, they've still got Sam Walker to come back in. I like them. Your man, Mark
Nawangatina Wase.
Nawanganitawase.
Yeah, that's it.
Nawanganitawase, yeah.
Nawanganitawase.
Yeah, Mark, we love you as well. You're tipping the Raiders.
I'm going
tipping
the Raiders. Yeah.
So Kev's tips for round 13, just so we've got them clear. He's going the Dragons, then he's going the Storm, Cowboys and the Bronx, the Wars, Penrith, and the Raiders.
There's 8 from 8. There you go. Mark it down.
Okay, Kratzmann player on the move. Now,
player on the move.
I would say...
Give me some suggestions and I'll tell you right.
Well, I think one, Payne Haas, he's on the move because you know what, for him to back up, I think he's going great. But I think Horsburgh and I think Jaden Sewer. I think Jaden Sewer could be a Kratzmann player on the move because he's playing on the edge, St George, and they need him.
Yeah, well, there's him and Jai Arrow. So let's go the two back rowers.
Okay.
Right? Jai Arrow, all right, and Jaden Sewer. They're our Kratzmann players on the move.
Righto.
The selectors are looking at you, man.
You've got a big opportunity. That's exactly right. Now, I want to talk to you about questions for Kev. There's a few of them, Kev, and we love our questions for Kev. And by the way, go and have a listen to Shane Webke. We dropped that yesterday on Origin.
How good,
mate? This is not. I'm going to tell you something now. I'm going to, and I sent this to you, and this is. He'll hate me doing this, but this is Will Dobbin. I just listened to Inside Ball with Webke. What a bloke! I said the best ever. What about the story about him and Wayne in the 2000 semi with the broken arm and the one where he ran up the hill and became the best runner? Insane. Just a hard bloke. Go and have a listen. If young kids, if you want to go and listen to Webke, was unbelievable.
But some great lessons in
mate,
that as well.
That's what I liked about it.
Working hard, mate. If you're frightened of hard work, you're not going to be successful in this world. That was his message. If you want to be successful, you have to work hard. And Webke worked hard. He's still working hard.
Okay, can I please talk to you and give you some questions? And it's important that you answer these. I want clear, concise answers because controversial, some of them. Not really. Why was the Suncorp crowd so quiet yesterday, even from the first minute of the game?
Well, I can't agree with that. I was in the crowd. I was bristling. If I could throw me, and I was standing next to Gordy Tallis. We were watching the game together.
Where were you watching it?
Just in that southern end in the little sort of corporate area. No, there's none of that. We're just watching the game, mate. We actually watched it with James Maloney. You are a pest, mate. He was in the box as well. And after the game, he was just teasing the Queenslanders all the way through the game. Yeah, and a few of our Queensland team started walking out. The supporters, the fans. He's going, man, he's doing all this stuff. Mate, he's crazy, that James Maloney. He is a madman.
Just answer the question.
No.
Was it a good day yesterday?
We did it for love, mate.
Was it a good day yesterday? Was it a good day yesterday?
No, it wasn't because Queensland lost.
No. For the Walters family.
Well, someone's got to pay for the holidays at Noosa. Who's going to pay for the holidays at Noosa?
Holmes needs to be replaced by Cobbo, Artless or Tarlungi if fit.
Tarlungi will
come back in. I didn't think Holmes was that bad.
No, I didn't think he was. Cobbo will be looked at. He's still got that wrist problem. He's playing this week for the Broncos.
No, mate.
There's
I'm not starting anything.
Don't start anything about Cobbo.
You don't want to say anything.
Right.
I'll give everybody fair warning. If you say something bad about Cobbo, the bull, he will come. Bull. He will come. What are your thoughts? Should Billy drop DCE and start Dearden at 7 in Perth?
That's an option. That's an option. But again, there's 2 weeks of football to get through. Lots of things can happen in that 2 weeks. DCE can find himself a bit of form again. Good opportunity this week against the Broncos to really stand up and guide Manly around. But Dearden's an option there. He's got to come into the side somewhere, Tommy, I feel.
A lot of people asking that same thing. Toya, one of the best, easily our best back. Ponga looked lost, maybe bring in for Walsh. You said that earlier, if Walsh was fit.
I think Ponga's our best option at the moment. Reece hasn't played any football. And it'd be unfair on Reece to play one game, if at all. Will he play against the Titans, Dobbo, in 2 weeks' time? No. So he's not going to be.
He won't be right. Okay. Now your bets.
Righto.
I'm going to give you one today.
Right. Okay. Can you give me a couple? Because I'm really struggling.
No, you're right. Well, this is right down your rally. I'm going to say Broncos to win.
Right. I'm happy with that.
Ezra, anytime try scorer.
I got that down.
Canberra to also win.
Right. So we're going 3.
Broncos into Ezra, anytime try scorer.
Yeah.
And in the final game on Sunday night,
we're going the Raiders.
The money ball, the Raiders, Green Machine.
Righto, let's go that.
All right. What do we get, Das? What's the $6? I mean, seriously,
come on, let's get that.
I just want to shout you, and this is the first time that I've come on this, but I just want to give you another little thing. Last night, Elise, who does all the digital at Triple M, she's a beautiful girl. Really, her and a partner. They work hard. So she sends me a text. She says to me, Dobbo, what's your first try score about? This is at 7:21. I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, who would you be putting your money on first try scorer? I said, Zach Lomax from New South Wales. At 8:34, I just text her, no worries. That's all I can say. I'm just saying.
Did you really tip that?
I tipped Zach Lomax, yeah. I gave her that tip. I said that, yeah.
One of those wingers. Well, Cobbo was not Cobbo, sorry, Xavier Coates was one.
One as well. I
was
thought it's
gonna
either
score.
Coates
And
or
Toto-
Lomax.
And Toto scored two, didn't he?
Yeah,
So 3 of the 4 wingers
At least,
scored.
no worries.
Yeah.
I mean, I can only do what I
Well
can
done,
do.
Dobbo, you got
hey,
one right.
listen, we'll be back on Monday. We have a great round 13. Sad day. Go Queenslander night in Newcastle for the women's game 3. Kevie is he's going to rest the voice. You'll see him on Fox.
Yep.
Your Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah, just the 3 days this week.
Yeah, we'll just rest the voice, mate.
Yep. No, but I just want to send a nice, clear message to all the Queenslanders, Dobbo.
Go.
Stick together here, troops. We got this. Game 2 in Perth. Game 3 in Sydney. It's been done before. It'll get done again. History repeats. Come on, the Queenslanders.
See you later. We'll see you on Monday.